How's it going out there? This is the Cool Club. I am the Glitch Trap. Bong, bong, bong. Let's go ahead and get into this. You have people, fans of the show The 100. They're complaining about a queer character that was killed on the show, a queer woman, a lesbian woman who was killed on the show. This is starting to get ridiculous. This is why people are, start to voice their frustrations and their disinterest with the LGBT community because of things like this. It seems like you don't want equality. It seems to me that you want special treatment. You understand? Because it's only within recent times like that LGBT, that homosexuality, lesbianism, all of that was classified as a mental illness, and it was declassified as a mental illness with no good reason. This happened around the 1970s. That doesn't change the fact of what their findings in the beginning. Now, and it's not to say that there's a hatred. There's no hate for LGBT people. You know, people have included you. They've included you in the films. So that's a nod to you. You should be happy that they're willing to kill you in the film. That means you're in it. Do you understand? Just because you're not the main character, the story doesn't center around you. It's crazy how you have people now saying that queer women have been killed on television for decades. But the truth is you didn't even have many queer women on television. They didn't, I just told you that they classified homosexuality as a mental illness. You didn't have outward lesbian women on television and on TV in the 70s and all the way up into the 90s. You even then, like in this, they mentioned that show Xena in this article. In the show Xena, they was trying to make it seem like Xena had an affection for for a female friend that she was fighting with. You never, like, Xena was talking to men. She was sleeping with men. So what you saying? She was bisexual? Or she was just a freak? What? Like, what are you trying to tell us here? Because they're gonna recreate the show Xena, and now they want to recreate Xena and put a bunch of lesbian sex scenes in it. Nobody asked for that. Xena is set in a mythical time, like in its ancient time. In those times, they not saying that the behavior may have been shunned, but how history is. Now this is a fictional show. Xena's about fictional, talking about mythological beast and all this other stuff. But if it wasn't implied in the original story work, don't try to add it. But yet and still, you have the internet and people coming up with this trope, bury your gays. That this is the slogan that they've come up with for what's going on in Hollywood. So Hollywood is actually on an agenda to bury the gays. Like, come on, stop it. You can't have it both ways. Like, it's actually, come on, y'all. The LGBT community has a big representation in Hollywood. They have their hand in things behind the scenes, even with straight characters, and making them, so they're in writing and things like that. So come on, you have the ability, but but for the majority, like the majority of people on the earth, they're not homosexual. I just spoke on things that people look at and gravitate towards things that they understand and relate to. So you don't want to just totally make something that off puts the audience. You don't want to make something that people can't just necessarily relate to. Now, you've had stories of LGBT characters that people can relate to. They've had that. Look at the Dallas Buyers Club. You had the Jared Leto character. A lot of people empathize with him. He played that role great. There's been characters like that. What was that movie, Mannequin? It's been with the character Hollywood, and this was in the 90s. So you've had representation. Like, don't start Don't start. You can't participate in the game, as they say. There's no crying in baseball. You can't participate and then cry when things don't go your way, or you can't shape everything. It just don't work like that. You know, they're trying to say that queer women on TV, that they always end up dying. Before, let's see. It says they've been pointing out that subsequent contenders for the dubious distinction ever since blah blah blah. Queer women die of gunshot wounds like the Hundred's Lexa, Buffy the Vampire Slayer's Tara, Northern Exposure's Cicely, The Walking Dead's Alicia, Orphan Black's Delphine, and two different Boardwalk Empire characters, Angela and Louise. They die of cancer, like the L Word's Dana, Private Practice's Suzanne. They get murdered by jealous men, like Pretty Liars Maya, Spartacus Gaia, or House of Cards Rachel. It's like, well, so what? Everybody dies in some manner on a show. They're not gonna, like, if let you tell it, everyone's gonna survive. In the tweet from Amaz, I don't know, I can't even pronounce this. I'm not gonna even butcher the person's name. Says, honestly, there is like a conspiracy which says lesbians in TV shows needs to suffer, die, and not end up together. What is this? So were you saying that same thing when Tony Stark just got killed? He survived 3 movies, so now we gonna complain now that he's dead? No, they're just gonna reboot the movie. They're just gonna do what they do. Nobody's gonna bat an eye or be making up in arms about it. In another tweet, someone else said, I'm not like other lesbians. I'm alive. Dialogue from a future hit network TV show I write, in which no lesbians die ever. Oh, okay. No lesbians die ever. That's going to be a whack show. What is that going to be called? The Immortals? You have people who complaining about characters dying in a show like The Walking Dead. The zombies don't discriminate, man. They eat LGBT brains the same way they eat straight brains. They don't discriminate. It does not matter. It's only built to drive the story. And then when a person who writing this material, they don't have to justify anything to the audience. Just please get that through your head. That's not how this stuff works. They don't have to the writer is a creative vessel, and we want their creativity to flourish. I don't want you to try to stifle them. That's what's going on with creativity today. It's too much wokeness, too much agendas in this fantasy films and things. Too much stuff, like I said, that's just off-putting and not even appealing. People not even visually appealing. People don't want to see it. It's too much of that going on today. And that's that's the problem in Hollywood. It's not about keeping LGBT characters alive, or people trying to put a Jason and drop him in the Pride Month and have him just chopping off it. No one's doing that. You understand? So don't try to conflate this situation or try to find straw man arguments and things like that just because maybe a character you like dies, or the writer doesn't listen to your rantings. They don't want to, they have a story that they're pushing. They have their own. Don't you understand that this stuff is already written? As a result, the 100 gained a reputation for being a casually inclusive show. The series Rothberg writers, they all proudly touted and encouraged Rothberg, even tweeted a picture, blah, blah, blah. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. With that being said, look, when you're in the game, there's no crying in baseball. Everybody's going to get it. We took our stuff like on the chin. Black people took it on the chin when they were in horror movies. They were just happy to be in the films when horror movies were killing them off at the beginning. There was only one black person in the film. Every single film, it had to be one black person. This happened for years in Hollywood. We didn't cry about that. You understand? You just prove your worth. Make some good stuff. Like I want to see that. Like make some stuff that people actually want to see that doesn't center around LGBT or a person's sexuality. Make that, center that around the actual character. Make a good story, and then people, you wouldn't have to complain. You can keep them alive, and people will want to see that. But if the character sucks, the character's boring, and people don't really like the character, those are the characters that they get out of here. Or if you're just like the newbie, if you're the newbie, then you got it. You get that too. So it just is what it is. With that being said, this is the Cool Club. I am the Glitch Trap. Bang, bang, bang.